So in today's video, we're going to be ranking all the V4 races, or also known as race awakenings in Blox Fruits. By far, this is my personal favorite Blox Fruits update, and I think it's going to have a huge effect on Blox Fruits PvP because these race awakenings are extremely strong and very well made. So I think without wasting any more time, let's get right into the tier list. So here we are in the tier list, and as you guys can see, all of the races are down below, starting from human, angel, rabbit, shark, ghoul, and cyborg. Just by looking at the images that I put down here, you can already see how amazing they look, and you can also tell how strong they are gonna be. Okay, so let's move on into the passive abilities and actually the main thing that you guys are here for. So every single race has two different passives which you can also upgrade. So first, let's talk about human. So human's first passive is limit break, which essentially means the longer you fight your opponent, the stronger you get. It basically works as like a rage meter, and basically it's a huge buff over your opponent. And this rage meter goes up to 100, and whenever you guys upgrade this passive, you guys can get up to 150, which is very strong. So the first passive of human is extremely strong. Then moving on into the second passive of human is the psycho, and what this basically means, it gives you 3 flash steps. So you guys know when you can teleport around the map and stuff like that, you can do that 3 times now when you have awakened human race, which is very strong. And when you guys upgrade this, you guys will be actually invisible when you dash, and this is very important in PvP because you can just go invisible whenever you want. You can leave out of combos. If 2 people are fighting you, you can simply just run away with a teleport, because you can actually teleport 3 different times without any cooldown. It's basically like the teleport of Rumble, but a lot more better, and also makes you invisible. Super strong. So in my opinion, human is definitely a top tier race now. Its awakening is basically based on PvP, but still it is very strong. So definitely gonna be in the best tier. Moving on into the angel race. This one by far I didn't really like because it didn't really have like a super strong passive or anything like that. I'll explain. So for the first passive of angel, there is Prince of the Skies, which basically means you can fly with angel. You do not need a devil fruit for that. Yes, which is very fun and useful, but how is that going to be working in a PvP match, you know? Because everybody just uses combos and you're not going to find any time to fly. And also when you upgrade this passive, you can fly a bit more faster, and you can also glide a bit more faster, which is the same thing. So like literally a useless passive. Then moving on into the second passive is the King's Rule, which actually makes this a bit useful. So this passive actually gives you guys an aura around your character, which is very strong. Whenever somebody comes close to you, they get stunned, and they also get damaged and also get blinded, which is very strong. And when you upgrade this passive, it gets even stronger with more damage and all the stuff I already said. But in my opinion, you can get better races than this one, so it's going to be going in the good tier. But don't get me wrong, it's very good of a race, but just not for me, because I don't see any point of me just flying in a PvP match. And for the second passive, I would have to be on the face of my enemy, which I don't really like to do, because people can counter that with combos or with other races, which I will talk about later. So that's why I think it should be in the good tier. Moving into the race which I am currently using, Mink. Sadly, I haven't upgraded it yet, but I'm gonna be doing that very soon. But first, let's talk about what passives this race offers. First one is known as Whirlwind, and this one basically means whenever you dash, you guys leave a tornado behind yourself, and which can trap your opponents inside and deal a bit of damage. And whenever you upgrade this passive, the tornadoes deal a bit more damage and also stun for a bit longer. Well, the thing which I actually do not like about that is the tornadoes have a huge delay, so whenever your dash ends, then there will be a tornado behind you. But you can actually cover that up with a lot of dashes. You can just simply dash, then you guys will have like 20 tornadoes in the battlefield, which will trap your opponent, and you can get an easy combo. So this passive is actually pretty good, but it could be a lot more better. And the second passive is known as Lightning Cloak, and what this does is basically turns your flashes into electricity, and you have a really good animation when you guys dash, and the dashes are a lot more bigger. quicker. And also if you hold down the dash button, you guys can do a super dash, which is very strong. And whenever you upgrade this passive, then you can actually do the super dash, and also the super dash deals a bit of damage. So yeah, in my opinion, Mink was best before the update, but now Mink is bad because it literally doesn't have a super good passive. Like, it doesn't deal a lot of damage to your opponents, or it doesn't give you a lot of teleports or abilities or different types of buffs like blindness and stuff like that. So that's why I think it's gonna be in the bad tier. But yes, still, it has been only one day since the update has came out, so whenever we use Mink, we will realize how strong or how bad it actually is. So I think let's move on into the next race. So the next race that we have is the Shark, and it also has two different passives. So the first one is, I would say, the most broken passive that a race has, known as Leviathan's Armor. And what this does is basically gives you a shield, which when somebody hits you, you get literally 0 damage on you. Basically makes you invincible, and you can get the shield back by just dealing damage to your opponent, and you guys will have that back, and you are invincible again. And also, whenever you upgrade this passive, the shield has larger capacity, so like people can deal a lot more damage and it won't break, you know. So it is actually a very good race passive. Second passive we have is the Whirlpool, and this one is actually very good as well. Whenever you hit your opponent, you guys will give them a slowness buff. They can't run properly, they can't dash properly, you know, and makes it harder for them to run away and dodge your attacks. And the more you hit them, the stronger the slowness becomes, and the more slowed they will actually be. And if you upgrade this passive, the buffs lasts a lot more longer, which is just the icing on top. So this race is definitely gonna be in the best tier without even a doubt. Now let's move on into the Ghoul race. Personally, the coolest looking race in the whole game. The first passive is the Blood Siphon. As the name says it gives you a leech effect, and whenever you deal damage to your opponents, you guys will heal. And if you upgrade this passive, you guys will heal a lot more than usual, which is very strong in a PvP match. And this might make Ghoul one of the best races in the game as well, or at least in my opinion, because you can just simply heal while dealing damage to your opponent. What else could somebody want? And the second passive is known as a Domain Expansion. This is my personal favorite Race Awakening's ability. Gives you like a whole aura or a whole field around you, which slows, deals damage, and also blinds your opponent. Very strong. And if you guys upgrade this passive, you have like crows around you, and the crows actually deal damage to whoever is in the field, which is very strong as well. So definitely a top tier race in my opinion, and I would definitely like to get the V4 version of Ghoul now. Moving on into the last race, we have the Cyborg race. So with Cyborg, it has changed a lot. Like before, without the Race Awakening, it was like the best PvP race and stuff like that, but now it is the race which makes farming really easy. So the first passive that it gives you guys is Energy Control, and this basically gives you like a orb around you, and whenever you hit somebody, it slows them down and anybody who is near you. So basically, whenever you are farming an NPC or something like that, you hit one NPC and 3 or 4 of them are gonna be hit. So you can group them together very easily and kill them super fast. So for farming, Cyborg is very strong now. So that is the first passive, and if you guys upgrade this, it just becomes a bit more stronger and deals a bit more damage. And the second passive is known as Aftershock, and this one is extremely strong. What it does is basically electrifies everything that you do. So if you hit somebody, they get electrified and stunned. If you guys dash, you guys will have like a different type of dash which involves electricity. If you guys will double tap space, you guys will have like a electrified jump, and whoever gets hit by this electricity also gets damaged. So it's very strong, and whenever you upgrade this, it deals a lot more damage. So very strong race, but I would say not the best one now. So if you guys found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, so that is greatly appreciated. And yes, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.